Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for you. You know, I like to say it is good to want to be somebody. I've always wanted to be somebody. And so I want to take a moment and talk to you about the world is a stage. As a young boy, I always found myself interested in those things that seems to be impossible. For instance, being black in the South, living on plantations, working in the way black people had to work and going through the kind of life that black people, minority people, people who were disrespected as being genuinely human beings had to be treated or were treated. But I always wanted, when I watched a magazine or I saw something on a screen, if I went to a store that had a screen back in those days, it was always something that looked amazing. We don't do this, but wouldn't it be amazing to be able to do this? Or when you listen to stuff on the radio, the way they excite the mind, you start saying, wow, this is great. I want a part of this. I want a part of that. That was amazing to me. In fact, as I started growing up, I wanted to be a movie star. I wanted to be the kind of movie star that was good in everything. If I danced, I'd be like better than Michael Jackson, or just as good. I say Michael Jackson because I could not imagine myself doing that other stuff too much. The singing would have been magnificent. Not that I would have been a great singer, but I'd be able to bring enough soul, enough spirit, that regardless of what any obstacles might have been, that spirit would have overridden it, and everybody would be able to identify with what's being said, and they would be brought to an expression of love. Hey, that was my dream. And I went through elementary school, getting in plays, and then churches, being in plays and singing, and you didn't do too much dancing in church. Anyway, high school, looked for a scholarship in college. I wanted to major in it, but at that time I could not find a scholarship. So I got a scholarship instead in music. And it was a nice thing. I was envisioning that day when I find myself in Hollywood, when I find myself doing my thing, and when I found myself with the world talking about me and how good the entertainment is that I bring. That's something, isn't it? That was me. That was all that I aspired. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I got married as I was coming out of college. And I was asking myself, my wife was living in Chicago, and I'm thinking Hollywood. And I say, well, my wife and I had been kind of separated. I was in school, she was out for a few years, so I decided we'd go and spend a few years together to see what it's all about, to see what this marriage life is all about, and making some decisions on further down the road. I ended up leaving Chicago at the proper time. But before that, just like any young man, when you get your credentials, when you got the age and you're supposed to have the mindset and you think that you can conquer the world, you go out there, not just, and the women, and you go out there and you decide that this is what you're going to do. But my friends, I was raised by very old people. My mother was very young, and so old people raised me. So as I was out there dreaming about Hollywood still, I remember that I came off of a plantation. I remember the things that we were exposed to. I remember the things we did and what we were about. It came back in memories that were kind of haunting since I had been in these big cities, being able to travel around and see things. But every big city that I went in, I found that there was something just as despicable in these big cities as there were in any small town, any small city, even in the South. There was pain, there was suffering, there were people that were going without. This stuff bothered me. It really bothered me. To make a long story short, I remember one day I was driving home, and I was asking myself, what move should I really make in my life? I had lived during the time of the 60s when we had young men like Dr. Martin Luther King. We had young men like Malcolm X, and these men were about something. They had taken a path They made a choice and they walked that path. And they walked that path in such a way that it motivated and moved other people who wanted to be a part of that. They saw themselves, they didn't see themselves, but the people saw themselves as leaders, and they wanted these guys to speak for them because these guys were about the same things that the people were about, and that was righteousness and justice. And so we had lived through this period of time, and I'm thinking that young guys at that time, like me, we had seen this stuff. We knew that our people were being abused. We knew that things weren't good. We knew that the church didn't really have any major value when it came down to the lives of people. But like these men who did something, we saw it. We knew it could be done. And how could we sit back on the side and not do anything, just watching it? I was driving down this path in Chicago, and I'm thinking about, what should I do? Should I continue to try to go to Hollywood? Not try, but go to Hollywood. Or should I get on this new path that's driving my heart? And I was thinking deeply, ladies and gentlemen. I would not lie to you. It meant me making a decision about the rest of my life. I think I was about 27 years old. And I imagined, what stage would I be on? I could choose many. I could be on the musical stage or the drama stage. I can be here or there. Or I could be nowhere. Or I could be on the stage with nothing. I thought about this kind of stuff. Because there are people who you find that get the Oscars, and there are those who are never nominated. That never crossed my mind about never being nominated. But this other thing, the pain, the suffering, it brought tears to my heart. I couldn't stand it. I can't stand it. And something just said to me, the world is a stage. So why don't you choose this stage if you want to be somebody? If you want to be about something, choose the world as your stage. And you be the director. You write your script. And you, my friend, be the actor. And let's see. I see the world given by a power that I can't see, can't touch, can't feel, but the evidence is all about me. And the miracles, if there were any doubt, it's been removed. This world filled with people everywhere. And every human being on the face of the earth requires some essentials for survival. And every human being wants to survive. But survival means different things to different people, but be that as it may, there are certain things that's absolutely required for survival, like food, like clothing, like shelter, like education, like health care, like transportation, like infrastructure, and like all of the many things that people have come up with and caused the manifestation thereof. My friends, that means all of this resources out here, and we the people would benefit from one part or more of any of it as we choose. And if we're going to benefit and it is essential for us, then it is wonderful if we could participate in the process of the manifestation of enough resources and goods and services resting in the reservoir that all of us, my friends, can take from it as we need, want, or desire. And since each of us engaged our hands in the process by choosing the career that gave us our greatest joy, that makes us part owners of all that exists. Makes us part owners of all that exists, ladies and gentlemen. There's no bigger you, there's no little you. Everything is right on time. To me, that was as righteous as it could get. To me, that was God speaking through the Spirit for whomever could see that. And that's what I saw. This is what I see America. This is what I see for the world. And it seems that I might be the only one that sees it, but I know I'm not that dumb. I know I'm not. I know many of us, millions of us perhaps, see a better world just like this or better. But that is not the only thing that is required. The next thing is required is courage and faith that the power that you cannot see, if it becomes real in you, because you see it. And you cause the manifestation of it by the power of the Spirit. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say to you, all of us who disagree with what's going on, we can make it worse or we can make it better. The choice is ours. And I just want to, through this message, say to you that the world is a stage. And you can be whatever you write yourself to be and are able to carry it through. Is it an Oscar or do you get nominated? I want to thank you so very much for your moment. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you once again. Until next, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.